Hello, watch nerds, and welcome back to another episode of A Dude and His Watch. So, today I just wanted to go over these two Seiko divers because one of them I've got on eBay and I'm trying to sell. So, that's going to be the SPB185 right here. Beautiful watch, great case finishing. These retail for like 1200, 1300, something like that, but really well done, and sad to part with it, but gotta raise funds for the new hotness. So I was just going to kind of compare these two, compare and contrast a little bit here if I can get the focus going. So with the SPB 185, one thing you'll notice here is it is slightly smaller than the SLA075. So here with this one, with the 185, we have a case diameter of 42 millimeters, case thickness of 12.5, and then a lug to lug, which is this distance here from one lug to another, is going to be 48 millimeters. Here with the SLA075, this one is going to be a 42.6 millimeter in diameter, so basically this distance here. And then the lug to lug is a little bit longer on this one at 49.3, which is kind of long, but it's got a rubber strap, so that helps. As far as the turn down, you don't have links making this longer. But while we're at this angle, let's go to the case thickness. So the thickness on this is 13.1 millimeters. So yeah, just a little bit, about by a millimeter in any direction larger than the SPB 185. Now these are two different price points. You've got two different movements in here. And here, the 185, you have the 6R35, which is, the accuracy is stated anywhere from 25 to minus 15 seconds. Here you have the 8L35. This one here is plus 15 to minus 10 seconds. Now this one's really just been running spot on. I mean, I'd say it's as accurate as my Tudor Black Bay, my Grand Seiko Spring Drive. So those would be the most accurate watches in my collection. This one's maybe 5 to 10 seconds fast on any given day. So still not too bad for a completely unregulated movement, but they both get the job done. You can see the seconds hands are going about the same. Obviously, here you have a higher beat rate. This one, let's see here. I didn't write it down. It's all right. It's higher. This one's lower. So the second hand sweep on this one, the SLA model, is going to be a bit smoother. Now, as far as the stainless steel, these are both stainless steel. They both have the Diashock or the super hard coating on them. So they're going to resist scratches pretty well. They're both essentially a reinterpretation of a 1968 Seiko. And then with the case finishing, we'll start off with the crystal since we're looking on it here. The crystal on this one, the SLA, is what they call a dual curved sapphire. And you can see a bit that textured dial, that drizzle that they have on there. Other than that, this mostly presents as I'll say, an anthracite color dial, which is a sort of a dark gray. And it sort of, I'd say, fumes out from the center lightest to darkest out at the outer edges there. Here, you have kind of a chamfer on the crystal. Can give you a little bit distortion. Otherwise, it's really just flat. They both have pretty good AR coating on here. I'll say this one's, this one goes to 10, but this one is 11, pretty much in all aspects. Again, with both of them, there's divers watches. So here's the action on the bezel for the 185. Typical Seiko, a little bit spongy. I would say it's maybe a little bit more stiff a little bit, but lines up pretty good. You can see this one's had a little wear for whatever reason. I have no clue how some of that black came off, but it did. But you don't really tell. You can't really tell for the most part. This has pressed indices from the back, and they're filled with the Lumabrite, which is pretty good, but you know, it's not as bright as it could or should be. Here we can see brushing on the top of the lugs, and then you've got this high polish that runs the length of the case. On the side, brushed here, unsigned crown, and then again, high polish on the underside. So, for people that might have a smaller wrist, again, this is the typical Seiko magic that you'd get with the Turtle or even the SKX, any of their cushion style cases. So it doesn't feel necessarily like a 42. I'll say it wears more like a 40, maybe a 41. And then let's see here with the bracelet, the clasp, you got 4 micro adjust, fold over on the clasp, push button deployant, milled clasp. Done pretty well. I want to say it's kind of a heavier watch. It's around 180 to 185 grams. So if you don't mind a bit of chunk on your wrist or a bit of weight, this is a good option for you. But just beautiful watch. I love the steel bezel. It's gives it a real tool look, and catching angles on here, different angles. You obviously catch light differently. Another thing I like about these Seikos, again with the sort of tool or sport watch theme, I love having the drilled lugs for quick strap changes. I've had this on different rubber straps, and it looks amazing. And then you can see the bracelet doesn't really taper, but it's done real nicely. Here you have pretty much brushed on all the surfaces on the top, but then here at the top of the middle lug, it kind of have a high polish there. So again, out and about in the light, it really catches, and just beautiful. Just looks beautiful. The case is great. The bracelet, I mean, this is probably one of my favorite Seiko cases. If not between this and the SPB317, which let me tell you, when they come out with an SLA model of that one, yeah, I will be a buyer. Which, speaking of the devil here, let's do a quick wristwatch check. Today we are wearing the SPB317 on the Uncle Strap Z1 bracelet. Fantastic. You can see that AR there. All right, let's get back to the main show here. SLA075. Deep filled with Lumabrite. This glows all night very brightly. I mean, you can see it at any time. You can see the 185 pretty well, but this one just, again, turns everything up to 11. And again, same case finishing, brushed on the top, high polished chamfer that runs the length of the case, brushed edge there, a little bit larger crown. You can see the knurling's different. We'll show that to you in a bit. Case back again, Wave of Kanagawa, and then you've got the undercut with the high polish. So even though it's 42, almost 43 millimeters, it wears smaller, but again, another chunky one if you don't mind that. This is definitely a statement piece. It's bright, it's bold. I'm surprised no one's asked me about it already, but I haven't really had a chance to wear it out in public other than work. Here you can see where they're putting the date down at about the 4 o'clock position, like they are on all the new divers, including this one. Except with this one, I will say the date is a bit easier to read because they have it to where the date wheel has been adjusted. And let me see, you can barely see that. There you go. So the 28th, is level with the bottom. Whereas with this one, it's kind of off to the side. Still easy to read, but what I like about both of them is, for my old eyes, they read almost as, no date. So let's go back to looking at the crown here. You'll see some differences. Again, on the knurling, this one is more fine. This one's more thick, so good grip there. Same thing with the bezel, probably a little bit easier to grip than this, which is more super fine or whatever. But again, the finishing on it's totally different as well. This one's higher end. This one's a little bit lower end. You know, about 1,200 versus what 2,800 retail. So, and then we did the bezel in the 185. Let's do the bezel on this one. Oh yeah, not as stiff as the 185. Still spongy like a Seiko, but a lot more smooth. There we go. Absolutely beautiful. I'm in love with this thing. I mean, you can probably tell. It lines up perfectly. I mean, here these things are built in the Grand Seiko studio. I mean, it's got an unregulated, undecorated Grand Seiko 8L movement. So, which is fine. I mean, this is about as Grand Seiko as you can get without being full on Grand Seiko. And that's fine because looking at the Grand Seiko divers, none of their design language really appeals to me. I really like these sort of reissues of these older models that Seiko does between the SPB and the SLA series. But yeah, I just wanted to give you guys a quick look, sort of comparison between these two divers, especially since I've got this one on eBay right now. I'm trying to sell it to help fund this one. Yeah, I mean, and you know what? I would say this has a bit of a male end link, so it probably extends that lug to lug a little bit. Not much, maybe half a mil, but nothing really noticeable. Either one's going to wear really well. I've got a 7-inch wrist, bang on, so we'll put those on, and then we'll get out of here. So let's put the 317 down there, and look at that. Look at that, y'all. Just a trio of Seiko divers looking all beautiful. I mean, man, what a pretty picture. All right, let's put these on wrist and we'll get out of here. But we'll start off with the SLA. So here we go. And this one's, there we go. I feel like that strap is kind of loosening up. All right, there is the SLA075. And let's see if we can get this a little bit sharper. I am not a professional videographer, y'all. I do these on my cheap Android cell phone. You can probably tell. There's a lot of better reviews out there. I'm just a fan. I like to share my thoughts on these things. I've been doing this since 2018 when I first got into watches, and I've been kind of going since. Oh, I wanted to clarify something from my previous video from yesterday, the state of the collection. I had mentioned that I had Rolex, but yet also stated the Tudor was my first big boy watch. What I meant by that is in 2016, I won a sales contest at work for selling insurance, and they bought me a kind of a basic Oyster Perpetual. It was 6,000. I remember I got taxed 4,000 on the gift. I wasn't super pumped about that, especially since I didn't know it was coming. In retrospect, I should have kept it because that same OP is probably at least $8,000 now, if not more, maybe 10. I don't know. The prices are stupid. But I remember having it for a week or two before I did something with it. I took it in and basically exchanged it for a big diamond ring for my wife, which is fine. But money-wise, if I would have known what I was getting into then, obviously, like I said, should have kept it because the value would have gone up. But in 2016, I was not into watches. Just didn't care about them. And I felt silly having a used Honda Civic on my wrist. So yeah, I exchanged it for a big diamond ring for my wife. So she was happy, I was happy. And then with my luck in the next year or two, I got heavy into watches. So when I say the Tudor was my first big boy watch, that was the first big boy watch that I was into watches and paid for myself. So that was just a little clarification there. But I still feel like the finishing on this is better because I remember that one and I kept looking at it thinking, why is this $6,000? This doesn't make sense. I thought it was overpriced then. I think they're way overpriced now. I mean, especially if you look at how good the fakes are and you can buy those for 500. I'd almost bet you money that it doesn't cost even 1,000 for Rolex to make a lot of their models that they charge insane amounts for. But y'all can argue about that in the comments if you like. Let's put the SPB185 on wrist and get out of here as well. All right. Oh, and I'll show one other difference, something you probably already noticed But here is the 185 on my 7-inch wrist. Beautiful piece. Sad to part with it, but hey, I'm not, like I said, not a big proponent of having like a different version of the same watch, because I even said in one video I'd kind of like the black series for this one, because the loom just looks incredible, but at the same time I can't really, I don't know, for me it just doesn't make sense to have just a different version of the same watch. Others would disagree, and everybody, collects differently, so that's fine. But one more difference here besides the ones we went over. This secondhand, one thing I really like about this is the stoplight on the 185. You have that little red stoplight on there, give it a splash of color, little fun. I appreciate that. This one they didn't do that, which is fine because the loom matches. This also does have bicolor loom, um, where the indices and everything is pretty much sort of a cyan blue, but then the minute hand and the pip are the green for the Luma Bright, and it's deep filled, very bright, lasts all night. Love this watch. Yeah, that's, hey Matt, this one or this one? This one or this one? Easy decision to make. We're taking this one. So, anyways, just a little comparison between the SPB185 and the SLA075. There's not a lot of videos on this one out there. There's some guy that has, I think this was his only watch, which is fine, and he made a ton of videos on it, and he's got like this really bad comb over, or it's a toupee, I don't know. Either one, but my brother, when you start losing your hair, I'm telling you, just bow out gracefully, give him the old Captain Jean-Luc Picard. If you're a young man still single, fuck it, lift weights, get big, be Mr. Clean, be Dwayne the Rock Johnson. You can still look good, bald. Don't be scared of that. Just a little life advice. That's what I used to do. Still lift, but I'm almost 50, so I'm fatter now. That's fine. Also married, so I don't have to worry about, being super sexy, which, takes weight off. But yeah, do that. Don't get a comb over. Don't do a wig or a toupee or whatever. Just my 2 cents. You know, just drink a box of Franzia, think on it before you go crazy. Anywho, like I said, I don't want to make this super long, but we'll call that a day, and I'm out. See you guys in the next one.